When you begin to understand human behavior on a deeper level, you realize that people, and especially women, are not captivated by surface level actions. You can spend your entire life buying gifts, opening doors, paying bills, or doing what you think is the right thing and still never capture the loyalty of a woman. Why? Because she is not loyal to the act. She is loyal to the energy behind the act. Women have an extraordinary sense for picking up on energy. They can feel when you're acting from a place of insecurity, when you're trying too hard to be accepted, or when your gestures are simply attempts to gain something in return. And at the same time, they can feel when your presence carries certainty, when your actions come from authenticity, and when you are not looking for validation, but simply radiating who you are. A man can walk into a room without saying a word, without handing out a single compliment, and still have every eye on him. Why? Because the energy he carries, that energy cannot be bought, borrowed, or faked. It's the invisible language of confidence and inner certainty that speaks louder than any material deed. Women don't hold on to memories of what you purchased for them. They hold on to how your energy made them feel in the moment. That feeling is what lasts, and that is what their loyalty anchors itself to. Think about it this way. When you give a gift, does the gift itself carry the power? Or does the emotion attached to it hold the power? If you give with desperation, hoping she will love you more because of it, she feels the weakness. She might say, thank you. She might smile, but inside her heart doesn't move. But if you give with no agenda, no fear of losing her, and from a place of strength and genuine care, that same gift suddenly feels different. It resonates because your energy is clean. She's not responding to the deed. She's responding to the vibration you put behind it. Women don't want to be weighed down by acts that come from fear. They want to feel lifted by energy that comes from confidence. You could take her to the fanciest restaurant in the city, but if your presence feels uncertain, if you're hiding behind the money you're spending, she feels that. On the other hand, you could take her for a simple walk in the park, and if your energy is grounded, calm, and strong, she will remember that moment forever. The setting, the action, the deed, they are secondary. What is primary is the energy you carry into it. So many men misunderstand this and exhaust themselves trying to prove their worth through action. They try to buy loyalty, win it with effort, or earn it with sacrifice. And then they're confused when the loyalty isn't there. They tell themselves, after everything I did, she still left. But the truth is, it was never about what you did. She was never loyal to the doing. She was only ever loyal to the being. Who were you when you were doing those things? Did you do them from alignment and confidence or from fear and desperation? That is the question most men avoid because it forces them to confront their true energy. Energy speaks long before words, long before deeds. It's why sometimes a woman can sense something is off without you ever saying a thing. She's not analyzing your words. She's feeling your energy. If your energy is inconsistent, if your confidence is unstable, her loyalty begins to fade. Not because she doesn't see your efforts, but because she doesn't feel that deeper certainty behind them. Efforts without energy are hollow. Energy without effort is powerful. That's why a man who doesn't do much at all can still command loyalty, while another who does everything struggles to hold it. This is the difference between manipulation and magnetism. Manipulation is when you use action to cover weak energy. You do more, you give more, you try harder, but deep down you're operating from a place of lack. Magnetism, however, is when your energy is strong, certain, and aligned, and your actions flow naturally from that. A woman doesn't need you to prove yourself through doing when she can feel your being. She feels safe in the presence of strength, not the presence of endless deeds. When a man understands this, he stops chasing loyalty through performance. He begins to focus on the one thing that matters, his energy. He asks himself, what vibration am I bringing into this interaction? Am I radiating security, or am I leaking insecurity? Am I acting out of fear of losing her? Or am I acting from the confidence of knowing who I am? These questions shift the entire dynamic because once your energy is aligned, your actions naturally carry weight. You don't need to do more to be more. You simply are. And that beingness is what women attach to. It's almost paradoxical. The less you chase loyalty with actions, the more loyalty you inspire with energy. Because women don't follow deeds, they follow energy. They aren't loyal to what you give them. They're loyal to how you make them feel with your presence. When you begin to master that, you'll notice a shift. Your words will matter less. Your gifts will matter less, and yet your impact will be greater because she isn't falling in love with what you do. She's falling in love with who you are at an energetic level. If you truly stop and observe the way human connection works, you'll realize something powerful. People rarely remember the details of what you did, but they never forget how you made them feel. This truth becomes even more pronounced when you look at the way women respond in relationships. You can do countless things on the surface, provide, fix, buy, plan, sacrifice, yet still find yourself in a position where the loyalty isn't there. That's because women are not loyal to the checklist of actions you perform. They are loyal to the sense of emotional security you provide. Emotional security is not a word, it's a vibration. It's the calm a woman feels when she knows you stand firm in who you are. It's the subtle assurance she experiences when your presence doesn't waver with circumstances. It's not about the car you drive, the trips you pay for, or the gifts you offer. All of those can be appreciated, but none of them anchor loyalty. What anchors loyalty is the invisible, steady foundation of emotional safety. When a woman feels understood, when she feels seen, when she feels that her emotions don't fall on deaf ears, that's when loyalty grows. You may think it's the big grand gestures that secure her, but often it's the quiet tone of your voice, the steadiness of your presence, the way you don't crumble when challenges appear. A woman doesn't want to constantly question whether you'll still be there tomorrow, whether your strength is temporary, or whether your attention disappears when life gets hard. She wants to feel that she is safe in the consistency of your emotional frame. That safety is what she is loyal to. A man could pour endless energy into physical efforts, but if his emotional presence is inconsistent, his actions are unstable. You could buy flowers every week, but if you shut down when she's vulnerable, those flowers mean nothing. You could provide financial stability, but if you are emotionally absent, that security feels empty. You could fight her battles for her, but if you cannot hold space for her heart, she feels alone. Loyalty does not root itself in deeds. It roots itself in the energy of emotional security that wraps around those deeds. The reason emotional security is so powerful is because it connects directly to a woman's natural desire for safety. Not just physical safety, but the deeper safety of being accepted without fear, being loved without condition, being heard without judgment. This is not something you can fake, because women can feel the truth of it instantly. If your words say, "You're safe with me," but your energy radiates uncertainty, she feels the gap. If your actions say, "I'm doing all of this for you," but your energy says, "I need you to validate me," she feels the gap. Her loyalty never locks on the surface. It locks onto the energy behind the surface. Emotional security is not built by perfection. It's built by presence. It's not about never failing. It's about standing strong in who you are, even when you stumble. Women respect a man who doesn't hide behind masks, because masks create insecurity. They respect a man who shows his truth, because truth creates safety. A woman becomes loyal not when you try to protect her from every storm outside, but when you prove you can remain calm in the storm inside. Your inner stability becomes her outer security. Many men make the mistake of thinking women are loyal to convenience or comfort, when in reality they are loyal to connection. You can give her a lifestyle of ease, but if she doesn't feel emotionally seen, her heart will search elsewhere. You can remove every obstacle from her path, but if she feels misunderstood, she will still feel alone. And this is where so many men miscalculate. They put all their effort into doing more, giving more, fixing more, and then wonder why their efforts are not enough. It's because the heart does not measure loyalty in effort. It measures it in feeling. Think of the moments that bond people most strongly. They are rarely built on things. They are built on moments of emotional truth. The late night conversation where you didn't try to solve but simply listen. The eye contact that said, "I understand you," without needing words. The embrace that didn't carry obligation, only presence. These are the moments that create emotional security, and that security is what loyalty attaches itself to. The deeper you go into this understanding, the more you realize that women are not searching for superheroes. They are searching for stability. They are not loyal to the man who does the most, but to the man whose presence creates the deepest sense of peace. You cannot buy peace. You cannot force peace. You can only embody it. And when you do, when your energy radiates calm certainty, she feels it. Her body relaxes around you. Her mind eases around you. Her heart rests in your presence. That rest is loyalty, because once she finds that, she doesn't want to risk losing it. A man can spend years trying to press through what he does, never realizing that what truly captures loyalty is who he is at his core. Actions have meaning only when they reflect identity. Without identity, actions are hollow, easily replaced, and quickly forgotten. You could take her on vacations, buy her the latest things, or create moments that look perfect from the outside, but if there is no depth to who you are, it all collapses. What women connect to is not the act itself, but the identity that breathes life into the act. That's why two men can do the exact same thing for a woman and receive two completely different responses. One man gives flowers and she barely reacts, while another gives the same flowers and her heart melts. The difference is not the flowers, it's the identity behind the hand that gave them. Identity is magnetic. When a man knows who he is, when he walks in his purpose, when he stands grounded in his values, that energy flows into everything he touches. A simple word spoken from a man with identity feels powerful. A gesture offered from a man with identity feels secure. Women don't become loyal to random deeds, because deeds can be duplicated by anyone. What cannot be duplicated is identity, a man's sense of purpose, his vision, his direction. That's what separates him. It's not about what you did today. It's about whether what you did flows from a foundation of who you are. When a man lacks identity, he begins to rely on external actions to try to fill the void. He does more, gives more, sacrifices more, hoping will win loyalty. But loyalty never attaches itself to desperation. Loyalty attaches itself to certainty. If you do not know who you are, a woman feels that even if she can't put it into words, she senses the instability, the lack of foundation, and it makes her cautious. On the other hand, when you are anchored in identity, even your silence carries weight. You don't need to prove, you don't need to chase. You don't need to overcompensate. Your presence speaks louder than any action could. Women admire men whose actions align with their identity, not men who use actions to disguise the absence of identity. A man could work hard and achieve impressive things, but if those achievements are not grounded in who he really is, they come across as performance. And performance doesn't secure loyalty because performance eventually ends. Identity, however, is consistent. It remains through highs and lows, through gain and loss. That consistency is what builds true trust. A woman doesn't want to wonder whether your kindness today will vanish tomorrow. She wants to know that your actions are rooted in a stable identity that does not change with circumstances. Consider how powerful identity truly is. A man with a clear vision doesn't need to beg for respect. It comes naturally. His actions, even small ones, feel purposeful. His decisions, even the difficult ones, carry clarity. Women are drawn to that because it creates direction. Without direction, actions feel scattered. With direction, even a small step feels meaningful. Women do not become loyal to men who do random things without clarity. They become loyal to men whose identity creates order and stability in everything they touch. Identity also has another quality. It cannot be taken away. You can lose money, you can lose opportunities, you can lose status, but if you know who you are, you carry power that endures. A woman knows this. That's why she may not be impressed by temporary actions, but she is deeply impressed by the man whose identity shines through no matter what season he is in. She senses that even if circumstances change, his essence won't. That sense of stability is irresistible. A man who lives without identity becomes unpredictable. His actions are inconsistent because they are guided by external forces. One day he's confident, the next he's insecure. One day he's present, the next he's withdrawn. Women cannot attach loyalty to that because there is no foundation. But when identity is strong, a man becomes reliable. His energy doesn't swing wildly with circumstances. His values do not bend for approval. His actions flow from who he is, not from what he thinks will impress in the moment. That is what inspires loyalty because it is something rare, something unshakable. Every man must ask himself, who am I beyond what I do? If everything I do is stripped away, what remains? That is where identity begins. And when a man lives from that place, his actions stop being attempts to earn loyalty. Instead, they become natural extensions of his essence. Women don't want endless doing. They want authentic being. They want to feel that the man in front of them is the same man behind closed doors, the same man when he wins, the same man when he loses. They want identity, not performance, because identity carries truth, and truth is what inspires lasting loyalty. One of the most misunderstood aspects of building loyalty is the role of consistency. Many people believe loyalty is earned through big actions, grand gestures, or powerful statements, but the reality is that none of those things can replace the quiet strength of consistency. Women don't attach themselves to what you do once in a while. They attach themselves to what you do over and over again. A single moment of kindness may be appreciated, but it is not enough to build devotion. A one-time display of strength might inspire admiration, but it will not anchor trust. What creates loyalty is the steady rhythm of your character, the predictable reliability of who you are day after day. Consistency is powerful because it creates a sense of safety. When a woman sees that your behavior, your values, and your presence do not fluctuate wildly with circumstances, she begins to relax into the relationship. She no longer feels the need to question whether you will still be there tomorrow or whether your kindness will evaporate when things get hard. Instead, she learns to trust that you are who you say you are, not just sometimes, but always. That trust, born from consistency, is what builds true loyalty. Think about how many men lose the loyalty of women because they confuse intensity with consistency. At the beginning of a relationship, they show intensity. They go out of their way. They shower her with attention. They do everything they can to impress. For a moment, she feels drawn in. But as time passes, the intensity fades because it was never built on true consistency. It was built on the excitement of the chase. When the chase is over, the energy disappears. And she realizes that what she thought was stability was really just performance. Women do not stay loyal to performance. They stay loyal to character that repeats itself over time. Consistency is not about perfection. It is not about always being right or never making mistakes. It is about showing up in a way that is steady and reliable. Even when you fail, if you fail in line with your values, she respects it. Even when you struggle, if your struggle still reflects your authenticity, she trusts it. Inconsistency, on the other hand, breeds insecurity. When your words don't align with your actions, when your actions change depending on who is watching, when your behavior shifts based on mood or circumstance, it creates doubt. And doubt is the enemy of loyalty. A woman is not loyal to a man who occasionally makes her feel safe. She is loyal to the man who consistently provides that feeling without needing to be asked. She is not loyal to the man who sometimes listens and sometimes ignores. She is loyal to the man who makes listening a natural habit. She is not loyal to the man who shows respect only when it benefits him. She is loyal to the man who treats her with respect regardless of situation. Consistency transforms actions from random gestures into a reliable foundation. Without consistency, everything else eventually falls apart. The beauty of consistency is that it compounds. Small actions repeated over time carry more weight than large actions done once. A soft word spoken every day is more powerful than one loud declaration made once a year. A steady presence every evening creates more trust than one extravagant vacation every few months. Women are far more drawn to the security of patterns than to the excitement of occasional extremes. Loyalty cannot grow in chaos. It can only grow in the soil of stability. When you look at the men women remain loyal to, you will see a common thread. They are consistent, not in what they buy or in the drama they create, but in who they are. Their energy is stable. Their actions are aligned with their words. and their presence does not disappear when life becomes difficult. They do not need to prove their worth with extreme displays because their consistency proves it silently every day. That is what allows women to give their trust without hesitation. Consistency also reveals something deeper. It shows that you are not driven by external validation. Anyone can be kind when they are trying to impress. Anyone can be respectful when others are watching. But when you are consistent in private as well as in public, when you are the same person behind closed doors as you are in front of others, that is when true loyalty is earned. Because women see that your consistency is not about performance. It is about identity. You are not acting a role. You are living your truth. Without consistency, nothing else matters. Success in life, business, and relationships all rest on this principle. One act of greatness means little if it is not repeated. One moment of connection means little if it is not sustained. A woman's loyalty is not secured by fireworks that light up the sky for a moment and then disappear into darkness. It is secured by the steady flame that continues to burn long after the excitement fades. That steady flame is consistency. And it is one of the rarest qualities a man can embody, but also one of the most powerful. There is something deeply magnetic about authenticity, something that cannot be manufactured or imitated because it carries a frequency that people feel on an unconscious level. Women in particular are highly tuned to this frequency. They can sense when a man is putting on a mask, when he is bending his truth to please, or when he is pretending to be something he is not just to gain approval. No matter how well you think you are hiding it, she feels it. And the moment she feels the mask, her loyalty begins to waver. Because loyalty is never given to the performance of a man. It is given to the essence of him. Authenticity is not about perfection. It is about alignment. It is the willingness to stand in your truth without apology, without disguise, and without fear of whether or not it will be accepted. When a man lives authentically, every action, every word, and every decision flows from who he really is. He does not try to impress because his identity is not built on needing approval. He does not compromise his core values for temporary gain because his foundation is firm. Women find that kind of man irresistible because it provides something rare in a world full of pretenders. Authenticity communicates strength. It tells her without words, I am enough as I am, and I do not need to be anything else to earn your presence. That confidence is intoxicating because it radiates certainty, and certainty is what women attach their loyalty to. Think about the opposite. A man who is always adjusting himself, always changing his behavior depending on who he is around, always filtering his truth to be accepted. He may not realize it, but this creates an energy of instability. She never truly knows which version of him is real. And when that doubt exists, loyalty cannot grow. Even if he does everything right on the surface, if she feels he is not being himself, the connection is fragile. Authenticity eliminates that fragility because it offers something stable. She knows that what she sees is what she gets. There is no hidden agenda, no performance. That stability builds trust, and trust is the soil where loyalty grows. Authenticity also has a unique power to attract the right kind of woman. When you live in truth, you naturally repel those who cannot resonate with your energy. That is a blessing, not a loss. Pretending may win you temporary affection, but it will not win you loyalty because the loyalty is not to you, it is to the mask you created. And masks always crack. When they do, everything built on them collapses. But when you are authentic, the loyalty you inspire is genuine. It is not built on illusion. It is built on reality. A woman who connects to your authentic self is not connecting to what you've shown her. She is connecting to who you truly are. That bond cannot be easily broken. Authenticity is also freedom. When you no longer bend yourself to fit expectations, you stop living in fear of being abandoned for showing your truth. Ironically, this freedom makes you more attractive. Women respect men who live boldly in their truth because it signals strength. It signals a man who does not need external approval to validate his worth. That kind of strength creates security, and security creates loyalty. It is far more powerful than any temporary charm or surface level act because it cannot be taken away. Charm fades, accent, but authenticity endures. The man who is authentic does not chase. He doesn't need to. His presence is enough. He doesn't need to buy endless things to prove himself because he understands his value is not in what he does, but in who he is. He doesn't need to manipulate or overperform because his truth draws in those who resonate with it. Women find peace in that kind of energy. They know they don't have to constantly question what is real because everything about him is aligned. That peace is what makes loyalty natural. Every man must ask himself whether he is living as his authentic self or as a character he created. If you are a character, your actions may impress temporarily, but they will never inspire lasting loyalty. If you are authentic, even your smallest gestures will carry weight because they are rooted in truth. Women are not loyal to illusions. They are loyal to authenticity. And once they experience it, once they feel the calm certainty of a man who lives without mask, they do not want to let it go. There comes a point where you realize that the depth of a woman's loyalty is not tied to surface actions or even temporary displays of affection, but to something much deeper alignment. A woman becomes truly loyal to a man when she feels he is aligned with his higher self, when his life reflects direction, when his choices flow from purpose, and when his daily actions are rooted in growth rather than stagnation. You can do 1,000 things for her, but if you betray your own higher self, if you drift aimlessly with no vision, her loyalty begins to weaken. She is not loyal to the smaller version of you that compromises to please or avoids growth to stay comfortable. She is loyal to the version of you that is becoming, evolving, and reaching higher. When you are aligned with your higher self, everything about your energy changes. You carry a different presence because you are not just existing day to day. You are living with intention. Women feel that. They may not always articulate it, but they sense it. They notice when a man's words, values, and actions are congruent. They notice when he stands for something beyond himself. They notice when his purpose is bigger than temporary pleasure. That alignment creates an aura of stability, and stability is where loyalty thrives. A man who's misaligned, however, radiates uncertainty. His actions contradict his words. His direction shifts constantly, and his energy feels scattered. No matter how much he does, she cannot anchor loyalty to instability. Alignment with your higher self also communicates strength of character. It shows that you are not controlled by the world around you, but guided by something within you. A woman respects that because it reflects leadership, and leadership creates trust. She doesn't need you to have everything figured out, but she does need to feel that you are moving in the right direction, that you are not abandoning yourself in order to fit into someone else's mold. A man who sacrifices his vision to win her attention may gain temporary affection, but he will lose her long-term loyalty because deep down she cannot admire a man who betrays himself. What women find magnetic is not perfection, but progression. A man aligned with his higher self is not stagnant. He is growing. He is improving, expanding, and stretching beyond his current state. That growth inspires loyalty because it signals that the relationship will not remain stuck. It will evolve, it will deepen, it will expand alongside his journey. Women do not want to tie themselves to a man who is stuck in cycles of mediocrity. They want to feel that by being with him. They are also aligning with growth, vision, and expansion. His alignment with himself creates a space for her to align with her own higher self as well. When you drift away from your higher self, when you lose touch with your purpose, women sense it immediately. You may still be doing things for her, still trying to show love through action, but she feels a void behind those actions. Something is missing, and that something is your alignment. You can't fake it because alignment isn't about words, it's about energy. If you are ignoring your purpose, if you are living small when you're called to live big, your actions carry the heaviness of that misalignment. They may look good on the surface, but they don't carry the energy that inspires lasting loyalty. But when you live aligned, everything shifts. Even the simplest gestures carry power because they are backed by integrity. Your presence feels safe, not because of what you do in the moment, because of the sense of direction you embody. She feels she can trust you, not only with her heart, but with her future, because you are not drifting. You are guided. That is what women become loyal to the man who honors himself enough to live in alignment. Because if you can honor your higher self, she knows you will honor her as well. Alignment also demands authenticity. And authenticity builds respect. When you live in harmony with your higher self, you stop chasing temporary validation. You stop bending to fit in. You stop dilling yourself to please. You live as who you were designed to be, and that radiates power. Women feel drawn to that because it signals freedom. It signals a man who's not trapped by fear, who is not enslaved by approval, who is not imprisoned by smallness. That kind of man doesn't beg for loyalty. He inspires it. So many men lose loyalty because they abandon their alignment for comfort. They choose the easy path, the convenient path, the path that requires no growth. And in doing so, they lose the very energy that keeps a woman anchored to them. Loyalty is not maintained by routine or comfort. It is maintained by the fire of purpose. A woman attaches herself to that fire. When she sees it alive in you, she feels safe investing her heart because she knows the man she's giving herself to will not remain stuck. He will rise, and she will rise with him.